LA5,
KG3.
welcome back.
Here, here.
Here, cheers. Mm. The proceedings resume to be glorious. Now, I would love to ask you, congratulations on getting married this last summer. I wish I could have joined you at that beautiful event, but the videos and pictures were amazing. You and
Mhm.
your wonderful bride, please tell me what married life is like thus far.
Surprising,
Ah,
because I thought nothing was going to change, actually. I thought,
oh,
it's in my heart, I was already married, and
okay.
we already kind of like had a covenant marriage anyway. So I didn't think anything was going to be different. But you know what? I was pleasantly surprised. I would say that our dynamic amplified by two.
Oh,
It felt like we were closer. It felt like we were more comfortable, and it just felt like we were more liberated and free.
oh,
So that translated to basically she was able to match my level of ridiculousness when it comes to my humor, which is rather ridiculous. No one really, well, you've seen how ridiculous my humor can be, actually, so you
it's
know.
wonderful.
You have an idea.
It's
But
absolutely wonderful.
yeah, it's a lot of inner child unleashing,
Of
letting that
course.
sweet opera singer out first thing in the morning for no apparent reason. In fact, one of the ways that we greet each other is I go, "My love," and then she goes, "My love." Then I go, "My love, my love." Then together, "My love."
Aw, that's just that's so cute. And at the same time, there's that one guy walking by going like this. That's awesome, though. I love stuff like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too was simply just like the stress of leading up to the wedding and all the different things that you have to plan and like, oh, is this in order? Is that in order? Are people going to be able to make it on time? Is the schedule good? All the double checking and everything, especially the day of. The day of was
Yes.
just constant, like putting out fires and getting everything ready. So once all the stress was released, of course, that allowed us to be more present and genuine with one another too. So that was a rational component of it as to why there'd be like this newfound dynamic of intimacy on the other side of marriage, and it's maintained. And another big thing too that's very unique to Michelle
Mhm.
is she has the same approach on life when it comes to our priorities. We aren't
That's
trying
huge.
to control the outcome. We're not trying to say what our life has to look like. We're both simply just looking to God and allowing Him to lead us and point out to us the direction as we just trust Him. And
Mhm.
that's ironically, not ironically, actually, that's quite rationally how this entire relationship started. Because as you know from our previous talks, the entire notion of obtaining my dream relationship was completely surrendered. I was actually almost convinced in my heart that I was meant to be a Paul. I was meant to be, just doing my divine mission solo. Because every previous relationship to that, it was an obstacle.
Mhm.
My partner was constantly an obstacle in whatever I felt the Holy Spirit was calling me to do, because they wanted the more worldly approach of give me a 5 year plan of what you're going to accomplish, how you're going to sustain us, how you're going to guarantee security, and then maybe I'll be okay with it. But
Yeah, fair
we both
enough.
know we both know that's not how life works anyway. You can have a business plan and you can have all the different months in your journal planned out as to what's going to take place because you're going to make it happen. But life humbles us. Sidewinders come in and nothing goes as planned. Sure, you can have goals and you can have the different things that you say you're going to do, but they never end up going the way that we expect them to. But perseverance allows us to actually attain them.
That's right.
But nonetheless, we cannot say exactly how things are going to go, which I believe is by design, because then we build to rely on our own strength, and our own intelligence, our own logic, and we could basically make the world conform to our will. When in reality, this world is designed to humble us, to say, okay, I can't do this on my own. I don't want to do this in my own strength, but I want to align with the one who actually can make anything possible.
Yeah.
And that is what brought this relationship to be, because it was surrendered time and time again. And same with her. She was also surrendering, but she was also praying for a very specific man to come into her life. And so the combination of those two things resulted in this particular relationship. And now, finally, for the first time, we both have the qualities in our partner that we were always desiring, but never found prior.
Right. And now here you are, month and a half into marriage, and you still sound so positive, uplifting, and the fact that it's only added greatness to your life. Ah, this is the stuff I want to hear. This is so,
Mm,
it's fantastic. I love it. Ah,
yeah.
and when it comes to um the concept of moving in or even moving away, what is the plan now?
So we spent a month in Smithers,
Okay.
and we got to rent a nice little loft there for they're third cousins of my mom, so we know them
Okay.
from family reunions and whatnot. Perfect view of Mount Hudson, Hudson Bay Mountain. Yeah. And huge mountain with lots of alpine, sharp peaks, nice glacier on it. My kind of mountain. And we got to experience what it could be like if we were
Hmm.
to make that our permanent Canadian residence.
Yes,
Because the
yes.
idea is to have summers and fall in Canada and then winters in the Philippines and also
Which
the
sounds
spring.
amazing.
Yeah, January to May, Philippines.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, we got a good sense of that. We went to the different areas, and the common theme was anywhere we went, we would easily make a connection with somebody.
Okay.
And part of the litmus test was, is it easy to have a network and have a community form around us in this particular location? And whether it was going to the church there or going to the sauna, or even just me picking up a 4-pack of beer at the brewery to bring back to my dad's birthday party, I couldn't go anywhere without basically having a long, in-depth conversation with somebody, and sometimes even exchanging information to meet up for a hike later on.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, the ability to have a network form around us, very high,
Hmm.
very easy. And for Michelle, uh, she has different areas that she can also plug into, such as there's this assisted living center called the Meadows, and they help the elderly
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
with a high quality of life, but they can still live at their house. It's just like in home assisted living.
Oh,
And
cool.
so that's something that Michelle loves, is she has a compassion for the elderly. So working with them with her nursing background would be a really great way to help fill her heart and really be able to give high quality value, which is super important because that's it's one of our basic needs, I believe, as humans. We need to be of value to a network of the people around us. That's what fills
Yes.
our soul and lights us up.
It's
And
so true.
so
Community.
yeah, yeah, there's a huge abundance of that there. And we even went to pickleball in a nearby town called Telqua, and they have a great pickleball club there, and we became an honorary member within 2 days, pretty much. And
Oh.
yeah, her ability at pickleball is also skyrocketing. So yeah, we are now professional pickleball players.
Congratulations. I will come support you at a pickleball game anytime.
But yeah, basically to summarize it, it checked out as the most likely place we're going to be ending up in Canada. And the only question now becomes the time frame, whether or not we're going to
Ah,
be going to the
yes.
Philippines for the winter, or maybe just going straight to Smithers to experience what a Canadian winter is like there. That could be a
Hmm.
possibility. It'll really depend on where we're feeling called at the time.
Ah.
Either way, I'm happy. Like they have a really awesome snowboarding hill there, and I'd get a
Mm.
season's pass and just put on the headphones and treat it like I'm walking in the park kind of a thing, but I'm actually dancing on the mountain. Yeah, be glorious, truly. And then yeah, do lots of video editing. going to be rocking a new documentary about my basically the testimony of my last 10 years, but most prominently my last 3 years, because the same theme has been showing up time and time again of surrendering my hopes and dreams and simply just taking delight in whatever God has for me in the day, whatever the little missions are, surrendering the rest, and now having all of my dreams come into my life in like a very rampant fashion where they just kind of overtake me. I don't chase any of them. I don't try to secure anything at all. It is 100% surrendered, and that was the mode that actually allowed for them to be installed into my life, seemingly. So I want to talk about all those different circumstances and what was going on in my mind, what my narrative was, and what my emotional state was like. Because I think there's a lot of really good nuggets in there that would really help bring a lot of peace and a lot of joy into other people's lives, because it's available to all of us.
Yes,
but
it is.
Our experience has a lot to do with how we're interpreting and perceiving our circumstances.
Have you ever thought of going live on whether it be Facebook Live or YouTube Live? Because I did that last night. I went for a walk and I was listening to music or podcasts and stuff, and I decided I'm gonna do a live. And I started it off just kind of being goofy and just feeling like I need to entertain, you know. And I found this to be fascinating. There was this fella who messages me because there's a chat log, right, that you see, and the chat. He's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, that's a good question. I don't know. It's the first time I'm kind of going live, and I feel like I'm just entertaining. He's like, well, you could just talk. And I was like, yeah, I guess I could talk. And he starts asking me questions. And I end up having a 2-hour conversation with this guy as I'm walking around, and I had 1,300 people tune in, listening to us and watching as I'm just walking and talking. And he kept asking me questions just about different aspects of life, and he was telling me about himself. He's a 23 years young guy, and he's trying to start a business, but he's working for this family who has given him a lot. And he's like, I don't know what to do, like if I should leave the company or if I should pursue my own dreams. And I said, you should do both. Absolutely. Like, don't leave just to pursue your dreams. You should be pursuing your dreams while at the same time still giving like honor and respect to this family who has done you so well. And I bet they would be absolutely supportive of you. And he said that the dad of that company was already supportive of him pursuing his own action. So, and I'm like, well, there it is right there. You already have his blessing. You got both sides. You got God on your side. And it was such a fun way to experience a walk, just walking around. And he's a complete stranger from Calgary, but was able to just chat with him, and we connected, and I was able to give him some advice, and it was really cool. And I feel like you'd be someone who'd be able to really project nothing but like love and grace to someone's experience. So I recommend you do a live, possibly.
Now, does the live require me to find a stranger to include on the walk?
No, not at all. No, you can just be walking and talking to your lonesome. Like there's a part where I had no one watching, no one tuning in, and I'm still just walking around and just kind of talking. And then you, at least on YouTube, because that's how I did it, it then saves it to your account.
Ah.
So you have the whole live, so you could cut it up into pieces, or you could repost it as a video afterwards, and get views that way. But yeah, it was an interesting experience because I've done lives a little bit recently, but never of me walking and talking. It's always been me just pointing my camera at the TV or the computer screen and playing my content. So just because like lives and like shorts, that's kind of where people's attention span go these days. So I'm trying to capture a new audience that way. And by doing so, in the last month, I've gotten 26 new subscribers and over 8,000 views just across the channel. So it is definitely a means of pulling the attention to the channel.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
And this is YouTube Live.
Yes, this is YouTube. I haven't tried
Huh.
the other sites for what they do or offer, but because YouTube is where I post all my content, so I feel like it's the right platform for me to be engaging with.
You know what else I find fascinating is they ask me about how do you get a really good ranking on the algorithm of YouTube.
Mm.
Um, I've tried to research this myself. I don't have the answers because I've never really been successful in that. But I did a little bit of research, and what I could find was there's some interviews with the CEO of YouTube, and he was saying that he gets that question all the time.
Yeah.
And the way that he answers it is he says that if you put up genuine and authentic material, then the algorithm will back it and it will then find its traction to get that many more views. It's about authenticity.
Yeah.
And I find that really interesting because when you're live, typically you're just kind of like speaking off the cuff kind of a thing. So that's authenticity right there. And it's just
Yeah.
genuine content of this is what's happening right now. So I wonder if that's part of the approach because it seems to really favor authenticity.
I would have to say yes on just from my own experience because when I was being goofy and doing kind of just nonsense, no one was sticking in. And it's not like I was like, I don't even know what to call what I was doing. I was just kind of putting on a character as I'm walking. I'd be like, right, just being silly. And once the guy started to talk to me, he even said that he's like, yeah, yeah. He's like, it's nice to like, he's like, you're really open and genuine, and it's just like, and that's why he ended up staying for, I think it was an hour and 40 minutes that I was on this live, and I bet he was on it for an hour and a half of it just
Hmm.
like talking with me through the chat, and other people would chime in every now and then, and I'd have little combos with them on the side. But it really stuck with Barry Bonds. He used the name Barry Bonds, which I was like, ah, the baseball player. It was not him, but nonetheless, that was the name. Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Interesting.
just genuine conversation, and also if when the chat asks you a question, yeah, I was just open with whatever they asked. I found yeah, I don't think there was anyone who ever asked anything that was outlandish or silly or trying to get a rise. It was just people being just asking a question, even if it was just like, "Where do you live?" or like, "It's like, where are you right now? What are you doing? Why are you talking?" Stuff like that. Like just like those something as simple as that to something as big as like the guy asking for advice. So it was
So just
quite
random
the
people
fun.
are tuning in?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like oh yeah. Okay. So there's only one person. My buddy Paul Warren, who's in a bunch of my projects, and he used to own glass or not glass. Yeah, glass roots with Gentry. He tuned in, and so he was the only person who I know from real life who tuned in and was just being like, he's like, "What are you doing?" And then the second I see his screen name, I was like, "Ah, I know who you are." Yeah, just had a quick
Classic.
combo.
One
And
razzer.
right, exactly. One Razzer. He's like, you should go watch this show. It's a documentary. It's hilarious. I'm like, all right, I'll check it out. Yeah.
Huh. So KG3,
How they
question
thought?
for you.
Answer for you.
In
Hopefully.
the last 3 months, can you think of any kind of a theme or maybe a nugget of wisdom that's been given to you throughout your life? Any conclusions or lessons?
I would say patience is thrusted upon you when greatness is the end goal. And I say that simply because you say 3 months. 3 months ago, I was wanting my movie to be done, but
Mm.
it's out of my hands right now. My post production team, who is the colorist, the visual effects artist, and the sound designer, have all continuously come to me with not necessarily issues, but sentiments that it's going to take longer for them to complete their task. So it's a time when post production is completely out of my control, and it's either I could say to them, it's like we'll get it done anyway, and like push forward, like just like I want it for this specific time, which I did. I wanted it for certain timelines, but it's looking like it's not going to be finished until just before Christmas now. However, every single time they come to me with an issue or like a new um, task to be accomplished, I hear them out. They show me why it's taking so long, and I respectfully say, "All right, well, you know what? If you want it to be perfect, then who am I to say no? Don't make my project perfect." you know. So I would say patience is definitely one, and another one too is when you're given time to be patient on something. that is also opening you up to enjoy other things. Because one of the most enjoyable aspects of the last 3 months is I've gotten to see my family twice. Because I went home for my sister's birthday in August, and I went home for my mom's birthday in September.
Mm.
So that has been the biggest blessing. Because going home and being with family is it means the world. It's like I go. It's kind. You know what you want? Yeah, you talked earlier about surrendering to God and not forcing the outcome. If there's ever a time when I feel God is truly operating through my life, it's whenever He sends me home. Because whenever I'm home, that is exactly what it feels like. It's home. Out here,
Mm.
I feel like I'm out here for myself. I'm out here for my own ambitions, my own lofty goals, right? And I have other reasons. I've built a community out here. I've built relationships, but when it comes to going home, there's just nothing like it. And when I was younger, it was a feeling of that, like the sentiment that you could never go home again. I understood
Mm-hmm.
it. It rang true in the fact of you go home and most things feel the same, but you're the one that's different. And I'm starting to get to a stage where uh, I may be different, but going home still feels like the right place to be.
Hmm.
And yeah, there's a part of me that really is pulling me back home. So we'll see where I land in the next. Yeah, you know, you asked me about the past 3 months. I'm curious to know where I'm going to be in the next 3 months.
Ah,
Yeah,
huh. So a possible pending transition.
yeah, possible pendulum swing. And not to say that I would move back there full time, but there's definitely something that's pulling me back. I guess it could also be the fact that even today, so at the end of last year, my mom was like my mom always says like, "Oh, I miss you. I wish you'd be home," as moms do. And she also would be complaining about her health. Just she's like says like she's like, "Oh, gaining too much weight. Oh, just don't not feeling good." And then I would say, "Well, you could work out or something." And she's like, "Oh, Ryan, when you get in your 60s, we'll see what you say." And I understand that, like those lines of thinking, or 50s. I'm sorry, mom, 50s. I understand those lines of thinking. Or no, I guess she is in the 60s now. You know what? I'm gonna stop talking about my mom's age because she'll be the one watching this, and she's gonna be like, "Ryan, stop talking about my age." Love you, mom. um, um, but at the beginning of last year, at Christmas, I told her, not in the sense of losing weight as in losing fat, but to get healthier. I was like, all right, I'll tell you what. What is your goal of how much weight you want to lose? And she said, well, if I could drop 25 pounds, that'd be amazing. And I said, if you drop 25 pounds in the next year, I'll move home for a year. Well, today my sister calls me and says, "Hey, how much did you say mom had to lose?" I was like 25 pounds, and she's like, "Well, she's lost 28." So
Oh no.
there's definitely something where my hands are tied. I guess I gotta move
Oh,
back home for a year.
you
Uh,
can't stop destiny, you
you
know?
can't. It was meant to be, and I kind of love that fact because it's no matter what. Like I feel like no matter what, my mom was doing it to be healthier. But the fact that
Right.
I threw myself in there kind of as a little motivational like wrench into it. I think I love that fact, and um, we've actually talked about it even before she lost like her the goal weight. The fact that like the movie keep being pushed, and she understands that I can't really leave until the movie is completed. But once this feature film is done and everything is lined up, where out here I've set up what I can do for distribution. Yeah, I don't necessarily have a full on goal in mind to necessarily stay out here outside of wanting to continue to film. But the idea of going home and being with family, whether it be for a year or more or possibly less, depending on where life takes, it's it makes me smile more than it makes me go like, oh, like why did I do that? It's more like it's almost like yes, like it's almost like I wanted it to happen, and I got to make it happen through my mom becoming healthier as well. So it's a positive.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting. So that's really intriguing to me because then the book that I'm writing right now,
Mhm.
it's titled The Reality of Choice. And I go into the
Oh.
psychology of how the mind seems to make our choices for us and how choice doesn't necessarily happen the way that we think it does, because it seems like at any given moment we can make a choice, and
Mhm.
it's live. It's at that very millisecond that we make that choice, and that's when we take action. But when you go into the neuroscience of it, that's actually not the process at all. There's
Mhm.
been multiple studies that show that there's several seconds, sometimes up to 9 seconds, where the thought wave fires for that particular choice, but we don't become aware of it until 9 seconds later.
Mhm.
But yet, the subconscious mind had already fired that choice as to what the decision was going to be. We just come into alignment with it and become aware of it and choose it 9 seconds later. And so when you look at the subconscious mind as to how it comes to these decisions, a lot of it just comes down to a very simple filtering process. We have subconscious desires,
Mhm.
and subconscious means we don't necessarily know what they are. We might think we have a certain desire and we make a decision because of that desire that we just consciously are aware of, but that decision might have been made because of a different, more powerful subconscious desire that we're not aware of. And this is it's well documented in psychology and in neuroscience. So basically, the way that our subconscious mind comes to a decision is we have our hidden desires of what we truly want, and then we have our value system. And even our value system, which comes from our reticular activating system, our RAS, that's subconscious mostly too. So we're not really aware as to what we truly value until we find ourselves making decisions and taking actions, revealing what we truly value on the inside. We might think we value something more than something else, but that's just our conscious value system. That's not the one that's actually calling the shots. The one that is actually causing our decisions to come into alignment is our subconscious value system. What we truly believe to be right and beneficial, which of course can sometimes be misguided, because a lot of that comes from the media, our friends, our family, even our ancestral DNA as to their experiences being passed on through as to what would be a better action given a similar setup kind of a thing. There's so
Mhm.
many factors at play. But the main point is it's all subconscious. Our
Yeah.
subconscious mind is making the decision for us, and then we become aware of that decision up to 9 seconds later. So we don't make decisions. We simply try to understand why we made the decision that we did. And then
Mhm.
through that reflection process, that information can be fed back to our subconscious system to then change something in the future. But here's where it gets really exciting, KG3. This is
I'll
actually a
get
good thing.
excited.
Because on the surface, this sounds like, oh no, we don't have any control. That's really bad. I'm a victim of the media. I'm a victim of culture. But that's not the truth, especially when it comes to the born again believer, because we receive what's known as a new heart. And that new
Mm.
heart is the new code. That is a subconscious value system as to what is true, what is right, and what is good. So now we don't need to have misguided value systems on a subconscious level. On a subconscious level, we now have the truth as to what is good and what is right. And that is going to filter into our behavior down the road as we experience cognitive dissonance, because our value system says one thing, but then our behaviors, as we're becoming better, displays something else. And then we don't feel good about it. We feel like a hypocrite. Something feels off. And that's that
Mm.
conviction, the conviction of the Holy Spirit, that then brings us slowly, our character, back into alignment with our true value system that's already on the inside and it's already done. Who we truly are is already subconsciously given to us in our new heart, our new subconscious value system. And check this out, we still need to talk about desires, because just because a person is born again doesn't necessarily completely get rid of all of these self-destructive desires that we get through all the different influences. But guess what?
Let's hear it.
That's where the Holy Spirit comes in again, because he implants his passions and desires on the inside of us, into our subconscious. So you have the combination of the Holy Spirit's value system on a subconscious level, babumbie, right there. And then you have his passions being implanted on the inside of us, which has the motivating factor, the energizing factor, to then take action on a certain value. And then when we have the circumstance, the situation that presents the opportunity, that decision is already primed. It's primed by desire. It's primed by subconscious value expression. And now, when the situation arises, it automatically takes place. Sometimes we find ourselves doing things that feels like we're on autopilot. It's just instinctive, it's just reflexive. What is that? That's what it is. It is our subconscious desires and value system expressing itself. And so the good news about this is that's why there's at least 5 or so different scriptures that say we will fulfill the destiny that he has given us. It was God's great pleasure to give us birth of his infallible word on the inside of our hearts so that we would fulfill our destiny. It's the Holy Spirit on the inside that's birthed that guarantees we live out our good manifestation, our salvation story, and our destiny. And these are all really good things because we know the character of the one who actually made the storyline. We know who made the script. We know what good things he wants for us. He says that he comes to give us life in abundance until we overflow. So that means we can just trust the process. We don't need to worry about whether or not we're going to mess things up and we're going to just shoot ourselves in the foot with some decision we make. We can be confident that he will actually lead us into our God-given destiny, which is filled with purpose. It's filled with joy, with peace, and most importantly, all of this coming from the different experiences of his love in the full spectrum. That's really what we crave. That's all we want. We want the love, which translates to the joy, the peace, the goodness, the kindness, the confidence, single-minded confidence, which is humble.
And now abide faith, hope, love, these 3, but the greatest of these is love.
Hear, hear. And so, it's really nice because it frees the mind up to just be present. No longer does it have to fall for the coulda, woulda, shoulda. Oh, I should have done that. I could have done that. There's always going to play out that way, but we can learn from it.
The least enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are. And
absolutely,
we don't need
and that's all it is. It's all lessons.
100%. And the what ifs. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if this? The hypotheticals, there's no point in thinking about those either, because we can be confident that he's going to lead us into what he has for us anyway, which is better than what we can think up for ourselves. That's the other really good news. He's got a much better awareness. So, it's very good news because it allows a person to completely surrender the hopes, the dreams, and trust that whatever we need to do, whatever the moment is calling for, our thoughts that are relevant to that moment are going to come to us, and we're going to be able to execute with excellence for whatever that moment is calling for, because he is a spirit of excellence. So that brings us to what Stephen Hawking would really appreciate. He chased after one concept. He wanted to find a simple, elegant equation that could be the theory of everything. And that's what this is. D equals LT squared. Destiny equals love times by trust squared. Trust for the moment and trust for the future.
I love it.
We come from a place of love, and we trust him in the moment, and we trust him for the future, and that unlocks our full experience of our destiny. Because even though we might still accomplish our destiny and fulfill it, now we get to be consciously aware and attentive of actually taking in the process as we live out our destiny.
whether it be the case or not, I envision you at a giant whiteboard and you're like, D equals LT squared. My God, that's how you do it.
Amazing.
You figured out the equation.
Yeah,
That's
it's the
great. I
equation of
love that
everything.
though. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
Hmm.
good times.
Yeah, absolutely. So, outside of the realms of the conversation we're discussing, what has been something that has taken you by surprise in the last, let's say, the last month? Whether it be personal or worldly events, anything.
Okay. I guess two things came to mind. One thing that took me by surprise, as in I didn't expect it, I didn't see it coming, would have
Mhm.
been that unprecedented liquidation that took place 2 days ago in the crypto market.
Wild. Oh, that was wild. But
Yeah,
it was the stocks as well. It was across everything in the world, essentially.
yeah,
That was wild.
but not nearly as dramatic. I mean, the Russell went down 3%, which is like, yeah, I mean, that's something. Gold went down 10%. For gold, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. It's still
But
well,
like,
what's interesting, everything is still up though. You know? Like from this time last year, everything is still up.
oh yeah, no, the structure is still very good. Like
Yeah.
when you look at the total market cap for crypto,
Hmm.
it's still sitting on top of a very high support.
Yes.
And so the only thing that took
But
place
yeah.
was a mass liquidation of leverage. It was the
Is that what
leverage
that was? It was all the
derivatives.
leverage. Okay, so anyone
It
who was betting
because
essentially.
yeah, it flushes the system. Because with
Yeah.
all these different exchanges that have all these different leverage products out there for betting on futures, the exchanges need to make up the difference for all of the winning trades that people have. So if
Right.
I have $1,000, or let's call it $100,000, but now I have a 10x leverage on there, that
Hmm.
exchange needs to act with the additional $900,000 that they're basically spotting the person,
Yeah.
and they're betting that they're going to lose. That's why they can afford to say, okay, well, we'll give you another $900,000 to play with since you're only putting up $100,000 because, well, you're probably going to be wrong anyway. So 9 times out of 10, we win. But
Yeah.
in those
You know
times that they
what? Maybe.
lose,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
they have to pay out big, right? If
Yeah.
all
They
of
do.
those different people win on their exchanges, and the amount of people that were betting long was at a very high level because there's
And you
so
know
many
why?
bullish sentiments out there.
There's bullish sentiment, but I'll tell you, you know why people were doing it? And I wasn't expecting it to be as big as it was, but I knew there was going to be a hit for this very reason. Everyone kept saying, it's October. It's October. Everything's going to go up in October. We're going to have the biggest bull run ever in October. And it's just like, who started that narrative? I bet it goes back to people who were aware of what was about to happen, you know?
Hmm.
Because like you said, the amount of leverage that people probably lost, I can only imagine what some people were doing. I'm sure there were some people who lost everything in all that, which is wild.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, even 2x leverage positions would have been wiped out if a person bought the dip on XRP at say 296, and they would have had a
Hmm.
good entry right there because at that time that was support. But then it went down to $1.25.
Yeah,
And the reason that it does that too is because it catches a cascading momentum where as one person gets liquidated and they're forced to sell, that cleans the market that much further down, which triggers another one, then that triggers another one, then that triggers 10, then that triggers 100, and it gets into that like critical mass area where it just like has to sell everything at once. And that's all of a
yeah,
sudden that's why it went down 55% in the matter of 15 minutes,
yeah. Oh,
but
that.
then rose 86% of that move within 5 minutes.
Yeah, it
It
was
was
that was.
just the leverage, but the actual
Okay. See,
structure
that was wild to
remains
watch.
very
I remember.
bullish.
100% it's bullish, and we're about to still have a big run up because utility still has to go in, but it's once the Clarity Act goes through, right? Once that is 100%, it's all settled, and the ETFs are coming out. So I guess the government shutdown is still affecting things. So once all that's settled, who knows where it's going to go? The run's going to be incredible once the government opens up again, I think. But
Yeah, it could be.
yeah, well, I remember
It'll
I
be
was like, I was on
historic.
set. Yeah, I was on set on Friday, and I remember looking at it, and it was sitting at like $4, like Canadian, right? It was like $4.20. I'm like, it's been staying there for a few days, and I just put my phone down. I go to set. When I come back for lunch, I look at my phone. $2.76. I was like, what happened? And it was like in the span, like you said, a span of like 15 minutes, just that huge dip down. And all I could think was, well, we're still up on the year. But that was so wild to see. And then now we're again, I'm only talking Canadian. We're sitting at like 350, which again, that's fine. Nothing to complain on that. It's just yeah, that was so wild to see. And
Hmm.
yeah, with everything correlating in the world that goes along with that, because everyone's saying it was the tariff, him threatening tariffs on China. So interesting how that just causes such a volatile disruption.
Well, I mean, that was the grease. That was the grease that allowed it to go that much further. Because when you look at the actual mechanics of what went on there, the amount of whales that started selling before that announcement was made
Mm,
was
yeah,
substantial. And so it
that's
was
right.
insider trading to some degree. And then
100%. Always.
that when the market makers and the whales are able to move together, that's when a huge overshoot has the possibility of occurring, especially when you couple that with a public fear of
Yeah.
something going on.
Yeah.
So with China saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to retaliate," and then Trump being like, "Okay, another 130% on top of it," people are thinking the world's over. There's no way. We need the metals. We need the different supplies that we're going to get. So the entire world is going to crumble. The economy is going to collapse if we don't get those things. And so yeah, it's over. Sell everything. But that's also what the same sentiment was with COVID-19. And oddly enough, it was actually almost the exact same type of a crash, where it's a 50% correction or a 50% plummet in one day. And then
Yeah.
that ends up marking the bottom of that entire move. And then from there, there's a V shaped recovery into a parabolic blow off top. So
And it
that's
needs to,
likely what we're
yeah.
going to see next.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's almost it needed to happen because of the leverage. Like all of that was clogging up potential for the upside because it's all
It
all
it
being
can
all
act as weight.
speculative and gambling. Yeah, interesting.
Hmm.
It's the whole spring thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's quite
Yes.
fascinating. It's very interesting.
Yeah. No, it was. And I was out walking with my buddy at the time.
Hmm.
And what was neat about it too is like there was zero negative reaction when I looked, even
Yeah,
though like $200,000 was wiped out of my position, but my position had no leverage. And
and that's huge. Yeah, not having
and
leverage right now was great.
but the really nice thing was with what I've been through in the last 3 years and knowing that my future doesn't come from finances, there was zero concern
Yeah, good.
that hypothetically I just lost $200,000. It didn't feel
Hmm.
like that at all. Like it didn't feel like that. Felt like the equivalent of playing poker with fake tokens and
Yeah,
having
yeah,
no repercussions whatsoever. Because my subconscious now is convinced that my future is not based on finances. He has met my need in every single way when I have had absolutely nothing and while owing $100,000 and looking at bankruptcy. And then he saved me from that too. And so
yeah,
just the way that I witnessed him working in my life through the events and everything, he convinced my subconscious heart, my subconscious mind, that he's really the true provision.
hmm,
And whatever is necessary, whatever the moment's calling for, he's going to supply because he's
yeah,
done it time and time again. But he's now positioning me to be a more effective philanthropist. Like for example, what I'm looking to do with the portfolio and with the future is you can open a trust, and they're better to open in the States than Canada. And thankfully, Michelle's an American, so we could do this with a lawyer down there. And this trust becomes owned by a charity. And so everything that you put in this trust, whether it's a house, different assets, cryptocurrency, gold, whatever it might be, all of it is owned by the charity, which means none of it is taxable. Now, there's going to be some kind of a income that comes from this trust, say maybe 5% a year, and that income that comes out of the trust is taxable by the standard rate, whatever it is. But the real value here is that upon our death, all of the assets and all the value goes to the charity without any taxes whatsoever. Whereas inheritance tax usually takes about 30% whenever we pass something on to our children or family. 30% roughly is usually taken. There's ways to get around that with life insurance and stuff like that to kind of minimize it. But nonetheless, there's going to be taxes, but not with this one. All of it, all the value goes to the charity. So in a way, I'm building up this what you could call an empire just to be gifted to the charity at the end of the mission. Once the mission is up, I got to live in the house. I got to drive the car. I got to have, a nice sustainable passive income. But all of that value is now passed on to who I think is going to be Global Aid Network, which they go around the world. They give, they build fountains and whatnot, and they plant churches. And so that's awesome because it makes me think of the parable with the talents. He was given 1 talent, and then he multiplied it to 2, and then he was faithful with little, and then he was gifted that much more in the future.
Right. Yeah.
And so the multiplication of being able to receive some value and then amplify and then gift that to, gifting it to God, basically, just in the form of a charity in this particular instance. I love that idea because I'm not doing this for myself. I don't want to build hordes of value for myself. I don't want to play the game of net worth. I want to gift a lot of net worth to a charity that is doing God's work.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Well, then that means that's what's going to happen. Because you're building outside of yourself. You're building for the future of others. That never fails.
Aha. Love never fails.
Love never fails. And you said you had 2 surprises. What was surprise number 2?
Well, the other one was just a nice little nugget. I found a pattern with myself where I'm currently paying down a down payment for an apartment in Manila. And it's a really nice resort, like 5-star resort apartment. It's going to be, it's upcoming area, super beautiful, and they're still building it. It's almost done, but it's not quite there. But anyway, I'm at the stage right now where I'm paying down the most expensive payments. And so I'm timing this with the market because I'm looking at my portfolio when the best time is to take profits to then send over to the Philippines account. And cool. I found a pattern with my psyche where I found myself getting in trouble for the last 2 months in a row with timing, where I tried to maximize the amount of time that I could utilize before getting it in just before it's due.
Okay.
Because when I look at the charts, it's suggesting to me that, this is right at a mini support zone. I'd rather not sell here because the probability of it being higher in the 2 days ahead is majority. So I'd rather wait to see if it goes up and then I can take profits there. But each time I found myself being behind schedule, but always given enough time to get all the payments in there if I just go ahead and not wait for the perfect moment. Just go ahead and just be like, I have the money, here it is, just make sure it's there. Every time I thought the grass was going to be greener in the week ahead or the next few days ahead, it worked against me. And it happened again last week. This time I'm like, okay, I'm going to be ahead of schedule this month. I'm going to start as early as possible. So I got the money. I'm like, all right, Sunday instead of Monday. I think I can get it in with the banking system. And it worked. So I went Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, all 3. I'm like, great. But then Tuesday, I'm like, it looks like we're going to have a better opportunity next week. I'm just going to put in a small amount. Then Wednesday came in. I'm like, it's not really where it looks like it should be. It's right at support levels. yeah, I'm just going to do a little minimum. I'll be able to do it again on Monday because Monday is a normal day.
Mhm.
And then this happened. The big tanking came. And yeah, Flare hasn't fully recovered. It's still down maybe 10-15% to where it was. And now I find out that Monday is a banking holiday because of Thanksgiving. So now I can't get my money in there. So now we have to go a different route, and we have to use Michelle's American account
Mhm.
with the credit card to be able to get the final payment in. When I could have had all of this settled perfectly fine and at a better rate just on Wednesday and Thursday. But the thinking that got me in each time was I thought I had more time, and I thought the grass was going to be greener in the very near future. But the reality
Yeah,
was I had the money right then. And all I had
there
to
it is.
do was just methodically put it in and just say, this is a good time. This is what the
Yeah.
moment's calling for. I wasn't aligning with what the moment was calling for.
Man, I feel you on that one. I truly do. When just you think, oh, I got more time, there's always another time to do it. And then time shows not the case. And then there's other times where it's almost the, and then it's funny how it works in the opposite as well, where there's a moment where you feel the need, I need to do this right now. And everything's around you is kind of saying, don't do it. Don't do it
Mm,
now. And then if you forced it, it just, yeah, well, I can say this in recent time, whenever something's telling me not to do something, I always now take a step back and don't do it. I'm like, okay, I get you. I guess this will not
mm.
serve me well. Yeah. So that's it's interesting how that works both ways, but very fascinating. When you what now sending money over there because you're doing it still with crypto, yeah? Like
No, no, I use
no
Remitly.
Remitly. Okay.
E-transfers and Remitly.
Okay. All right. And like I said, another question is that like what's buying you're buying an apartment out there. What is the price of an apartment in Manila?
It's the equivalent of $300,000 Canadian, 13 million pesos.
Okay, wow. All right. And
But
like
if
very
this
nice
same
though, eh?
apartment, yeah, if this same apartment was in Vancouver, it would be probably $1.2 million dollars.
My God.
It's small. It's only 36 square meters, so like 900 square feet or so.
That's not
But
that small. That's a good sized place.
yeah,
Hmm.
or is it 36? No, no, it can't be 36 square feet. That's way too small.
Well, welcome to my
um,
apartment. I hope you enjoyed the tour.
yeah, that'd be so funny.
Oh man.
But it's very like those really nice tropical and usually like Mexican resorts
You sure?
that are
Yeah.
high end with like nice pools and everything and fountains and all that by the
Yeah.
beach. It's like that. And what's really neat about it too is it's got 21 floors, and the very top floor is actually a terrace.
Oh,
And
that's
it's a
nice. Yeah.
nice park-like setting up there where everyone can come up, and it's an amenity where you have chairs
Mm.
and all that. I think there's like a little bar if you want. And it's a good place to hang out, and that's where I want to be. I want to be on the Eagle Nest. I
Mm.
want the best view, and they have that at the very very top for everyone to enjoy, which is very rare. There's very few towers that have that. So I
Mm.
love that about it because then you get the sunrise and the sunset view from up top, and
Mhm.
the hours are 5 a.m. until 10 p.m. Whereas some of these towers, like I've noticed in Mexico, they
Yeah.
close the rooftop at 7 p.m. just before sunset. And it's like, well,
Oh.
the whole point is sunset.
Yeah.
Why
No
is it
kidding.
closed?
That's wild.
I guess I have a bunch of
Ah.
cleaning to do with the pool and stuff like that, so that's
I
probably it.
suppose.
But either way, I'm just grateful that this one is 5 a.m. till 10 p.m. because sunrise and sunset is
Yeah.
is
And
the
when
main
is
show.
the when is it supposed to finish building?
It was first quarter of 2026,
Hmm.
but now it's third quarter of 2026. And
Oh.
we
Okay.
don't know necessarily why, but they've been experiencing a lot of earthquakes in the
Oh. Okay.
Philippines.
Yeah.
They've been smaller ones, like magnitude 5. Some islands get a 7, and but that hasn't been Manila. Manila's been pretty calm, so we don't really know if that's been affecting it. But I mean, with any project, even if I have a video that I think I'm going to have done at a certain deadline, it's never the deadline, it's always after. So I feel like construction is the exact same way, even though they're working 24/7. Like we even went there
Mm-hmm.
at night to see our apartment, and you could see sparks flying down and like a lava waterfall of these glorious sparks. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, sweet productivity.
It's all coming together.
So yeah, the fact that they're working on it 24/7 is crazy, and it'll be done when it's going to
Yeah,
be done.
that's
And
right. It'll be
hopefully
done
it's
when
a
it'll be
win-win
done.
for everyone. I don't want the construction crew to be overworked. I'd rather
Yeah, for
them
sure.
have a good methodical pace too, because that's going to also reflect the quality of work. If
Hmm.
they just rush it, that would be worst case scenario.
That's right. That's right. So true. Ah,
Speaking of
man, oh man.
construction, you're still rocking construction, aren't you?
I am, um, but not to the same pace as I was last we chatted.
Hmm.
It's yeah, I still enjoy physical labor because I enjoy working with my hands. I enjoy treating it like a workout. But as of late, I have just found myself not enjoying the I'll use the terminology corporate structure of what it's becoming. I find that I enjoyed working there because it was like a mom pop shop. It was just like a closely like kind of like you had your freedom, and we worked hard because of it, and like we gave up certain we'll call it lawful requirements just because it was enjoyable to work there. But as of late, it has become on the back end so corporate while still treating the employees like it's a mall pop shop that I'm not enjoying the experience there near as much.
Hmm.
Like there's it's kind of like you're trying, and again, like to each their own, but it's becoming more um, restrictive while not giving any benefits to go along with it.
I see.
So yeah, so it's making it where it's not as enjoyable. Only on again, only on the structural environment of it, because the employees I work with, I still enjoy the job. It's still fine. But yeah, just the back end things there. I get it. You want to become bigger. You want to be like you want the company to grow, but you got to grow alongside with the employees. You can't just expect them to stay at a lower level while you're rising, you know?
Right.
Yeah. And I don't, and again, I don't mean like I don't need a raise. I don't need it, but you know what? Paying overtime, benefits. And when we're given, so like there's this app that we've been given, and like there's no requirement by law for anyone to use an app like that your company gives, as long as you have a timesheet. And that's what I did. I used the app as a timesheet. I would sign in at the end of the day. I would put in my hours in the app, and they really wanted everyone to sign into the app and sign out at the end of the day. But it's a GPS app, and I don't like that. I don't want to give my information. I don't want this app using my phone's data throughout the day. You know, like
Hmm.
it's because I looked into it. This app sells to third parties. It's like so I don't know what it's doing behind the scenes. So what I would do is at the end of the day, I would just punch in my hours. But then they recently locked the app where you have to sign in and sign out. You can't just plug in your hours at the end of the day. So now they're forcing us to sign in, sign out, and and I refuse to do that. So I've
Hmm.
been writing my hours on Notepad and sending it in, and since doing that, I uh, I haven't been paid for those days. The
Hmm.
days that I've been, even though I showed up and I've been doing work, but because I didn't sign in on the app, they didn't pay me for those days, and that is unacceptable. There's nothing saying that I have to use this app, and there's nothing about it that is beneficial to the employee. If it's beneficial to the employer, sure, that's fine. I get it, but again, but like I said, my grievances, I do not have to sign into this app, especially with all the other things that I just listed out before you. So
Mm.
yeah, it's taking a little bit of a turn, and I also, but it's also timely. Film is picking up more. I'm getting more film work. Um, the Yeah, and just like, yeah, just my heart isn't in it anymore when it comes
Ah.
to, and I don't know if it's necessarily construction itself, but just the structure of the company is no longer
Mm-hmm.
serving me in a way that I feel it's benefiting.
Mm.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah,
And it does kind of feel like a transition, but that's good that film's picking up.
yeah.
That's
It's been
positive.
nice. It is. Like I'm getting good film days, and I'm working with good people.
Mm.
Um, yeah. Like next week, I'm on Scrubs. Like they're rebooting Scrubs. Remember that one?
Oh wow, I do.
Yeah, yeah, all the same cast, so they're coming back. So I'll be standing in on that one. I don't know for who. Maybe Zach Braff. Ooh. Yeah, but yeah. So that's kind of where the construction side of things land, and it's too bad because like I said, I still enjoy that style of work, and I still enjoy waking up and having somewhere to go every day.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't see myself lasting there too much longer.
Ah yes.
Hmm. But that's
Interesting.
just for
Glorious
there.
question marks.
Yes, exactly. And but question marks that bring a smile to my face, not concern, because that means it's
Hmm.
like that. I know that all of this is happening because new opportunity and new experiences are emerging in my near future. So I need to essentially shed the old, and because another thing too that is just like it's the job has very much become too. It's like it pays the bills, you know.
Hmm.
And so like when it's just about paying the bills, well, that's not living. That's just existing, right? That's existing without living, and I don't want to be in that mindset anymore.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You don't want to be in that mindset anymore. It sounds like a perspective difference.
Yeah, yeah, definitely it's a perspective difference. Just
So yeah, expand on that one, KG3. I feel like there's a nugget in there.
well, so like when I first started within the construction, I was learning a lot because it was like I've done construction throughout my life on and off, just pay again for paying bills. But this was the second time, I guess I could say the third time in my life, where when I stuck with it long enough that I was truly learning stuff. So I learned new skills. I got better. I was able to participate, and like I felt like my opinion like mattered, or like my efforts were being appreciated. Whereas
Hmm.
I've gotten to a point now where none of that feels the case anymore. Like I'll give you an example where we had to replace this beam because it just was like we were supposed to put a cement slab underneath it, but we didn't. So it was just a beam to the ground and up. So I suggest, because the top of the beam is like jigsawed into the other beams and has siding already put onto it. I suggest, why don't we post jack, like use post jacks on the beams, and we cut the bottom of the beam where we need to put the block. We put the saddle on, we drill the holes, and we build the form around it. Pour the cement, and then the cement dries, and then it's like we build the cement slab underneath it. But boss man's like, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to remove the post completely. So I'm like, all right, well, again. So it's like just off that, it's like, hey, you're the boss man. We do what you say. The next time we're there, like we don't get to that day. The next day comes, and another guy who boss man is known for many years, and the guy also has like 40 years of experience under his belt, right? He's there, and boss man's like, okay, we're gonna remove this post today. And the guy who has 40 years on his belt goes, well, why don't we just post jack it, cut out the bomb, and build a form around it? And boss man goes, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do that. And it's just like it's stuff like that where, okay, now the guy has 40 years of experience, sure, but he doesn't go like he doesn't say like, oh yeah, someone else saw that, or like we like give a reason why not to. Just without question says yes. Whereas for me, it's almost like, no, you don't. It's like, no, we're not gonna go with that idea. So it's just I feel like I'm not appreciated for what I do. I also
Hmm.
the previous week I just lugged off 35,000 pounds of concrete off of this roof over the course of 3 days, tweak my back a little bit, and then I'm rewarded with not being paid my full hours.
Hmm. Yeah, it's pretty demotivating.
It is. It's very demotivating. And the when he brought up the things to do with the app, his the response was, "Well, what if people are stealing hours or adding hours?" In which I can only think, okay, well, if people are doing that, call them out and fire them, or do what you reprimand them, whatever you need to do if you're aware of people doing that. And two, you're talking about stealing hours where we've all worked for you for the last 3 years and you don't pay overtime, which is by law, and you're talking about stealing hours. Like it's yeah. I'm sorry. What I feel like I've gone on a tangent. What was your question
Well,
again?
no, I think we're getting it here because here's what I'm coming to as a conclusion. It seems as though you're coming up to a transition with a glorious question mark as to what that looks like, but from the events with your mom losing 28 pounds and you saying, you lose 25, I'll move back home for a year, and you starting to feel that desire of wanting to actually move back home, how much more of a blessing does it almost feel like that you're kind of, losing the parts that you desired the most about your job, which makes it that much easier to leave the job, which you would have to do if you're going to be going to Manitoba.
That's
So
a
it
very
kind of
good
just
point.
it's like a confirmation almost. So it could be seen as almost a gift as opposed to something being taken away. It's more like that's confirmation that, oh, okay, that gives a little bit of clarity as to where it looks like my trajectory is truly heading.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good point. I like that that line of thinking really vibes with me. Yeah,
Hmm.
it is a transitionary point. Uh, and I've felt this way with this job for really actually since film has also kind of turned back on, because this last year I've also done a lot of turning down film where I could like I for the last 4 months I bet I could have been in film full time and been making the same money, if not maybe even a little more.
Hmm.
But out of loyalty to the company, I've stayed with the construction. And what a way to end episode 1 of season 2 of Glorious Proceedings, where Ryan's audio and camera cut out. Yeah. Exactly. This is obviously where LA5 realized that Ryan's mic isn't working, so what do we do but call it a day?
Fascinating. Well, glorious times ahead, KG3.
That is right, LA5. We have nothing but glorious times ahead. None of this lines up with what is being shown on the screen because this is where the audio is gone. So I decided to just talk randomly and just fill in this space. And I'm sure LA5 will chime in at any time because his audio worked just fine.
You're here.
Exactly. He knows how to make audio. Yes, I'm sure he enjoyed that sip.
KG3, I agree.
LA5.
Yeah, let's do it again.
Oh, we definitely will, and I'll make sure to have good audio.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving.
And happy
Yes,
Thanksgiving.
indeed. You as well.
Yes, quite right. Bye, buddy. Have
You
a
too.
good one.
See ya.